I'm Karen Light, and I have a business called Studio Light Illustration. And we help people who have a story in them who need pictures for that story. So we do a lot of illustration work, mainly for children's books, but not exclusively. And as a part of the business, we also have a creative community for people who want to nurture their creative spirit and heal their creative spirit. And that involves multiple gatherings and toolkits and forum and a fun place to bring all your creative challenges and work on that and grow in your creativity. So we have that. And then I also do coach creative. So I help people who want to be more successful in the freelancing world or just more successful in achieving their creative dream in one way or another. You know, a big part of why I wanted to start this business is because I wanted a different lifestyle. It's a huge reason why I did it. It's not just supporting my business, it is supporting my lifestyle. It's like, follow your heart, follow your heart, follow your heart, follow your heart, follow your heart. But then like people are at the same time, they're like, yeah, but do this first. And that's not responsible. And this is, and so like you get all these like clashing messages about that. And so I feel like being a part of community where that is done in a very deep way. It's not surface, like it's not surface talk, right? It's like, no, what does that actually mean? It just trickles into everything else. How could it not? All these things are applicable to your life, not just your business. And I think in a very practical sense, making more money is really great. I was very much, making money at the beginning, doing a million other things, tutoring, private lessons, coaching, outside of my business, trying to figure out how to make my business make money. I just didn't know the path. Like I didn't know how long I should expect or if I was failing or if I was succeeding. And that's when I finally found Heart of Money. And I was like, I feel like I was reading the newsletter for almost a year probably. And then as soon as I was in the Heart of Money and he said the learning community be opening, I knew I was going to join. I didn't know how much I needed the spiritual support, how much I was really craving that. I'd been part of a spiritual community that had dissolved a few years before that and felt kind of floundering in that area. So it was really nice to have a space where I could approach it in a more spiritual way, since that was what I was trying to piece together on my own as well. The community aspect of having other people in the space, even if it was Zoom, it didn't seem, it just felt very fulfilling to be around a group of other people who are also approaching it in that way. So that was immediately really helpful to me. And then I think that coupled with just really practical things to do, like I was just like, oh, here's something I can work on, I needed both. And I felt a little overwhelmed when I first joined just because I was like, oh, what are the modules and the all the events? But I also like coach people on overwhelm sometimes. So I like coach myself through it. And I'm like, I don't have to do it once. You don't have to do everything. Like, just like start somewhere, And so I think I was so hungry for really practical things. I just started with the first module and just started working myself through that until I felt like, oh, I'd like to hear what other people are saying. So then I started joining the calls, and the Monday call especially like really helps me set my week up. And then I think what I did was like everything, all of a sudden I was doing everything. And now I'm finding a much more just being okay with like, this week I'm not going to make everything, because my business is running. So like, that's a good thing. That's right. Like, so I grew myself. I'm not failing if I'm not doing everything. But then this week I can do most things. So yay, It's a holistic approach. I need more spiritual stuff this week. I can do that. Or I just need to like put my head down and take a class, like a module, right? I could do that. I feel like being with people, I can do that. I feel like being by myself, I can do that. And so, I think a part of that is helpful with like the deep heart check-ins and even how the calls start, right? With like checking in with what you do need, so that, establishing that practice of being like, what do I need this week? Instead of assuming you know what you need. And then just having a place where I can do like an option for it. That's been like, I think the most helpful thing for me, especially like coaching programs, right? There's a lot of things that are like, do this and then do this. And then 5 weeks you can do this. And like, it all feels very rushed. And as a person who has a background of being a straight A student and like wanting to do everything right. And like, so for me, the practice of just being like, but what's right for me, it's just taken a load off, helped me kind of settle into my own flow. I can do a module and feel like I accomplished something in a morning and, in an hour even, and get a lot out of, even if I just sit down for an hour. There's this quote that I don't remember offhand, but it always struck me because it was something like, you'll feel satisfied when you have a very useful purpose, like a sock. And it was like this silly little quote, but I always think about that, like how we just actually really need practical things, very practical things sometimes, that just walk you through one step at a time. So I find that it's helpful that they're broken up into the little segments so that they're doable. And, it feels like I actually accomplished something. I'm not like stuck in the middle of this really long module. I like accomplish something. It helps me put them in my week and feel satisfied that I'm making progress. The content, gosh, it's just nice to have somebody talk you through, like, okay, here's how you do this sentence, like the one compelling sentence. I think that, we talk about all the time in the coaching calls. It's like, I was just like, wow, this one sentence is like blowing up my world. And, like worked on it for like 6 weeks before I was like, all right, I'm just going to move on with it now. But how just these little pieces that are often glazed over are really important. And if you can think through why they are and how to do them, they lay so much foundational work. Like I don't have to think as hard when I'm talking to people. Like even at the beginning of this call, I was kind of like chuckling inside. I was like, oh, I know what to say about my business already. It's hard. I'm not trying to come up with making it sound wonderful or like hooking people or, it's not about that. It's like being really authentic, finding this foundational piece and building the foundational pieces. So it feels like there's ground beneath me as I'm walking, as I'm kind of ping-ponging. Oh, try this. Really important thing that I hear Mark say a lot, and I don't think we can hear that message enough, is to do it imperfectly. I really had to get past that myself with it. I was struggling to make it perfect, but I think until you take things out and start using them, you're not really sure what works, until you say to somebody and they go, huh? Like, and you're like, oh, that's not right, I think the forum is really nice too, just to know that it's always there. Like there's always going to be somebody there who will listen or read your post and help you not feel like you're by yourself, which was important before COVID, but even more now. I appreciate that. You can just be like, I'm struggling right now and I just need somebody to know that I'm struggling. And I see people write it, I've written it, and just get responses. It's like, oh, okay. I've put out vulnerable stuff before I did, like seeing the way that other people have been responded to made me feel okay about it. I learn a lot just by reading it. If you just even scroll for a minute, you can get something out of reading it and what people are posting. And I like that so many people are helping each other with practical things too, not just I'm feeling emotionally low, but what's this page look like to you? Or would you try this workshop? Or answer some questions for me, sharing your blogs, sharing what's good, sharing what happened this week. I love the celebrations post. It makes me happy. It's really good that it's on Mondays. I've connected personally with several people, and that's just a really nice space to be in. It's like a more one-to-one thing with some folks. So being able to help each other out. I put out the question not too long ago around creativity, just thinking, how can I brainstorm? I know what I'm trying to say, but there's so much there. And like, if I just put it out to the community, what's a harmful message around creativity? Like the answers were like, oh, this is it. Like, this is what I've been like, like everybody's answers, like, I was just so helpful. And I put the same question into a few other groups that I'm a part of, and I might have got a few responses, but like the interaction and the willingness to help each other out on that Facebook group, that was fodder for so much for me. I recently had a session with Mark. He had said in a previous session, I think you could make a realistic goal of making $500 more a month the next handful of months. Talked about my pricing and stuff like that. And the next session I had, it had already been happening. I didn't realize it. But then when I put the numbers together, I was like, oh, it's happening. Like I make over $500 more a month now with illustration work in and of itself. So that is nothing to do with anything else, just straight illustration work. I already make an income that I can live off of. I live pretty simply, but I can live off of it, which is nice. But I've really gotten in the habit of putting out a regular newsletter. I do it every week, and I have now for a while. Those numbers, I don't have the exact numbers, but they're trickling up, which is always nice. I've just gotten people saying things like, oh, I've had you on my mind for a long time. And I got this email and it's time. I want to reach out. I want to do this. So I think that message of continually to just put it out there, sometimes hard to measure but just enough comments that I get that I'm like, all right, I got to keep doing it. We talked a bit about the one compelling sentence. That was huge. And I think it's like a practice. I can't remember if it was a specific module that said it, but within like the first, second, and third journey marketing, that really helped me think relationally about things. It really helped me reflect, especially on how I came into the heart of business. And it's even given me some insights. I just opened my community and I didn't get the enrollment I wanted. And I was reflecting on it and I was like, I missed this. I missed this huge step in it, in the process. That is how I got to this community, right? And so I think really breaking it down in that way is helpful. How do I give people a journey to walk along? I went to a workshop several years ago, like a conference kind of thing. And they said, raise your hand if you are an entrepreneur. Raise my hand, like everybody's raising their hand. They're like, raise your hand if you're a salesperson. I did not raise my hand. And then they were like, if you're an entrepreneur, you're a salesperson. I was like, oh God, I'm going to hurl. I have such really bad associations with it. And just really giving some space to think about that and to think about how it could be done differently. If we want to help people, we don't want to force them to do stuff that isn't good for them, put things down their throat. A new relationship was, I don't even call it sales because it's so gross to me, but like a new relationship with connecting with people, right? Who might want the services I have to offer. So how much more natural, right? Like how much more relaxing and how much less pressure every conversation you have. I used to just feel like I got to prepare for this conversation because it's like do or die, And so it doesn't feel that way anymore, which is relaxing. I think just my teaching background and the work I've been involved in has always been so much about giving, like so much to who you're working with. And if somebody needs help, you help them. And, definitely was a pretty burnt out teacher for a while. And so I felt that way with my business too, especially at the beginning. Like if somebody said they needed help with something, they had this great children's book idea that I thought was just beautiful and needed to be in the world, or they needed help, they're creative and they don't know how to make money. I just wanted to help them, but then I would give too much and then I would feel guilty because I had to do more to make income and then also not feel fed in return. And so I think when I'm just like, well, they're getting my newsletters, like there's valuable stuff in there. Is on this kind of journey, they're going to get something from that. And yet it's something that is a part of what I do anyway. Right. I do want to just point out too, just with the modules, the sovereignty module, it's very spiritual. And I think it is really helpful for, I don't know, it just gives you the groundedness to own what you do and own the process and make people feel comfortable that they're in good hands. Yeah, I think it's really helpful. Retreats have been amazing. I used to go on a lot of retreats several times a year. And then when that community kind of dissolved that I was a part of, I hadn't gone for several years on a retreat or given myself the space to do that. First virtual retreats, I was so just felt like malnourished, honestly. I felt malnourished and it was really, really helpful. There was a lot going on. One was right before COVID. The second one that I went to was right after COVID started. So there was a lot of change, just being like, what do I need? What's coming up for me? And of course, we're not as compartmentalized as we like to think. And so it translates well to business. That space is a beautiful space to be a part of. And then I feel like I get those touches of it whenever I do the deep heart check-ins. Like I get to have a minute of it, put down the business, just check in with yourself, just be with you. And of course, I draw and doodle through the whole thing. I appreciate that. I mentioned before that I was a part of another coaching group and really good people, kind-hearted, just good folk, knew a lot of stuff, were helpful in a lot of ways, but also really bought into the way that the coaching culture is. And it was very financially stressful to be a part of it. It was really stressful. If I were to pay them their full amount, it's like what I pay for rent now. And they were amazing with you're a different kind of business and we want to cultivate a relationship with different people. So why don't you just join us, pay whatever you can. We trust you. You'll pay more when you can, kind of thing. So it was lovely. But because the cost was so steep, it just stressed me out all the time. There was always this number amount that I was going to have to pay further up the road being figured into how much I had to make. And that was substantial. So one of the things I was just really appreciate about this learning community is that there is a very affordable monthly fee. And then if you need extra, you can get it, but like there's so much going on that if you never could afford that, which I think everybody who sticks with it, their business and everything, they can afford the individual coaching sometimes, but like, it's not touted as like, you should definitely have individual coaching every week or at least twice a month. It's not like that. Instead, the message is you should be able to get most of it that you need from the community. And every now and then it'd be really great if you got some individual coaching just to like really direct you. And that feels true and it feels authentic and it's very helpful. And I feel really good when I do get individual coaching. Like I always feel like it's valuable and it's worth the money that I spend on it because there's so much that I'm learning and bringing to that session, so much that can be disseminated into what I need to do specifically.
Right.
And then there's people to process and support you as you implement, You have to depend on this one person all the time. I did pay less for the other coaching group, but it was like steeply less, right? Like I can't hardly pay you anything right now. I'm just starting, and then what is offered as the lower option is just like, okay, I know I'll be able to afford the full amount. So it's not going to stress me out to afford that. I mean, that's how I joined Heart of Money too. I took the lower option for that class. I was shocked that I could afford to pay for a class like that because I always have been frustrated. Like that's a class I need and I can't afford to take it, talking about money and I don't have the money to take it. Actually the very first thing I ever went to with Mark, I'm thinking of it right now, was Pay from the Heart. I was reading his newsletters. I went to Pay from the Heart. And that was so helpful. So I started paying more attention to the newsletters, and that's when I saw Heart of Money. In really, really casual terms, I want to spend my days making things and helping other people make things. So that helped me shift this idea that I was going to represent all these artists who were going to do all these projects, because then I would become a project manager instead of project managing, just being a part of creating things. I've been like constantly trying to wrap my head around is like how to focus it. Like, where's the focus? Where's the focus? But I think they're all just starting to show me how they work together. I need community around what I do anyways, it's just in general. So I think there's a lot, like even we were talking about with the modules, you work through them imperfectly. And then, it's like, oh, now I'm doing this actual thing. Let me go back, let me refine this, or this didn't quite work the way I wanted to. Let me go back. So there's like practical help in that way. And then it feels good to know that there's a call I can always go on, because there's always going to be questions. I don't see this path as a path you stop growing on, right? So while a lot of it is set up to help you kind of launch and get momentum, there's a lot of support along the way that I don't know when I would stop needing that support. Yeah, I mean, I think the last piece that I would like to mention is just that I appreciate that there are overt connections made between doing business and living life this way and changing the world. I appreciate that's a conversation that's in the community. You don't have to be a part of that conversation if you don't want to. It speaks to me of the integrity of what we're doing. A lot of people, and I have myself, struggled with doing something on your own because it feels selfish in some way. Just really seeing more connections as to how this is important work in the world too. Like this is important that we live this way. And it's important that we change the way we interact with each other in our work lives and our business lives, and that we do work that helps people. I think that's really important. And that it doesn't ignore what's going on in the world. This community never ignores what's going on in the world. It doesn't ignore COVID. It doesn't ignore Black Lives Matter. It doesn't ignore the coup. It doesn't ignore any of this. It's like, oh, this is affecting you and this is a part of your life. And therefore it needs to be, business is not separate from life.